from the broadcast booth will take things over. Again, a pair of 4 and 5 teams here tonight at Spillane Field. It's the Falmouth Commodores taking on the home team, the Wareham Gatemen. I'm Jake Garcia. My partner joins me. He's Eric Bramer. Megan O'Brien, the third member of our broadcast crew. She'll be doing field reporting periodically throughout the broadcast. So, Eric, we mentioned these two teams have faced each other quite a few times this year. 2 already, 1 today, another one next Tuesday. So they'll become even more familiar with each other when we get things actually rolling here in the Cape Cod Baseball League season. We'll run through the lineups really quick, and as the two coaches, Jeff Trundy and Cooper Ferris, are meeting with the umpires at home plate, we'll occupy that time by setting the stage for tonight. First, for the visiting Falmouth Commodores, their lineup presented by Jeff Trundy. J.B. Woodman's in center field. He's leading off. Boomer White's batting second, DHing. Michael Tinsley, the catcher, he's batting third. Heath Quinn, he's cleanup, batting fourth. J.J. Matajevic, Tate Blackman, Mitch Longo, 5, 6, and 7. Caleb Hamilton and Tristan Gray, the 8 and 9 hitters, round out our lineup. We'll get to Wareham's right after this quick break, but for now, we'll take you out to our field mic for the presentation of our national anthem.
Including Gillette Stadium, Fenway Park, Boston TD Garden, Comcast Center, and American Airlines Arena in Miami. Jillian lives in Mattapoisett and studies at UMass Dartmouth, where she is in the honors nursing program and is a licensed EMT. She'll be competing for the title of Miss Massachusetts 1 week from tonight. Good luck, Jillian. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Julian Zucco.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We'll run through the Gateman lineup now, presented by Cooper Ferris. It goes like this. Charlie Warren back in center field today after a few days ago. Jay Jabs, after DHing, he's now in right field. He's batting second. Andrew Kisner will get his first start behind the plate. 2015 season for the Gatemen. He's batting third. Logan Sowers hitting fourth and in left. Wes Wilson batting fifth at third base. David McKinnon back in the starting lineup. He's over at first and batting sixth. Batting seventh, Mark Karaviotis, another guy making his first start at a different position tonight. He's at shortstop. Nick Sierra will do the DH duties, bat eighth, and Tanner Kirk rounds out the lineup. He's batting ninth and playing second base. Anything stand out to you about this lineup presented by Cooper Ferris here tonight?
Well, I'll be interested to see how Mark Karaviotis does, finally playing his native position of shortstop. And I'll also be interested to see how Nick Sierra does. He's 0 for 2 on the season, 2 strikeouts, yet to put the ball in play, but when he's on, he's one of the best catchers in the Big Ten offensively.
The back hits for receiving teams are James Pinkham and Damon Tavares.
There was rain earlier today in Wareham, but the skies have cleared out, and it's a sunny night here at Spillane Field. Other games across the league, a few of them have been delayed. Here tonight, though, at Spillane, that doesn't look to be in sight. So we'll be looking to get in Game 10 of the 2015 baseball season. Gatemen in their red jerseys. It's what they do at home on Friday nights. And Falmouth Commodores here tonight at Spillane Field, they'll go black, white, and then The Sox black, white, and maroon. We'll go through the defense for Falmouth. In the outfield, left to right, it's Mitch Longo, J.B. Woodman, and Heath Quinn. At the corners in the infield, it's Tate Blackman and J.J. Matajevic, third base and first base respectively. The double play combination is Tristan Gray at short and Caleb Hamilton at second. Michael Tinsley will be putting down the signs for the first time in 2 games after starting the first 7 of the season. And on the mound will be Bryce Montes de Oca. First, though, we'll see the Gatemen starter, Ryan Olson. We talked a little bit about him during the pregame. He was with the Gatemen last year, went 1-3 with a 3.66 ERA, a fastball, slider, and changeup in his arsenal. Expect to see all 3 of those tonight, even though we only saw 2 in his 1 inning of work against Orleans.
Yeah, in his 1 inning of work, we saw the fastball clocked around 91 and the slider around 80. But we will see a changeup. We'll have to see a changeup for him to be successful as a starter, facing hitters hopefully multiple times.
For the Gatemen defensively, Logan Sowers, Charlie Warren, and Jay Jabs occupy the outfield. Wes Wilson's at third, David McKinnon's at first. The double play combination is Mark Karaviotis and Tanner Kirk, and Andrew Kisner's behind the plate, putting down the signs for his starter, Ryan Olson.
From Mississippi.
Should be a beautiful night for baseball.
J.B. Woodman, a junior from Ole Miss, playing center field tonight. We'll dig in to lead off this ball game. A left-hander against the right-hander Olson. Fastball in there for a strike on the outside corner. First pitch clocks in at 7:04 here local time. 73 degrees and sunny here for the start of this game. Ground ball over to Karaviotis at short. Fields it on 2 hops and over to first, 1 away.
Karaviotis getting an early opportunity and handling it well.
From Texas A&M.
The first 2 games of this 2015 series between the Gatemen and the Commodores. In Game 1, Wareham slaughtered them. 10-1 was the final score. And in Game 2, the Commodores got revenge. They eked out a 1-0 win. Great pitching performances were the stories of that game. First pitch of the at-bat to Boomer White. A breaking ball misses outside.
White batting .242 on the year. 8 hits, 33 at-bats.
Ground ball up the middle. Olson fields his position and on to first.
The catcher, number 23, Michael Tinsley.
That is a broken bat right there. The entire handle flying off right above the hands.
You mentioned the average of Boomer White. No one in the starting lineup for the Commodores checks in to tonight's ball game with an average above 300.
Batting .211 as a team.
The left-handed hitting catcher, Michael Tinsley, hack at the first pitch, and he fouls it back. Tinsley has had the last 2 ball games to recuperate. He was the only rostered catcher on this Falmouth team until Logan Ice from Oregon State was brought in, and he started the next 2 games. Into shallow right field, Kirk calls everyone off and makes the catch. Inning over. So a clean first inning for Ryan Olson. 1-2-3, go the Commodores. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Gatemen with the bats here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like the balsamic grilled chicken or New England fried shrimp. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Everyone knows about the Cranberry Harvest celebration sponsored by AD Makepeace Company in October. But did you know that the company also offers custom cranberry tours throughout the year? Makepeace can host your company picnic or family event in the historic Box Mill on Tyhonet Pond. Visit admakepeace.com to learn more. some hoops on the blacktop, some baseball here at Spillane Field on the diamond. Bryce Montes de Oca, he toes the rubber tonight for the Falmouth Commodores. He's been great so far this season, second in the entire league in strikeouts. Had an outing against Wareham. We alluded to that in the pregame show. Through 3 innings, allowed no earned runs, struck out 6. Then against Brewster, he did allow 2 earned runs, but in those 3 innings, still struck out 6. He says he likes to blow up bats. Coach Cooper Ferris, though, what that means to him, he relies on his fastball a lot. And he's told his hitters here tonight, capitalize on a first pitch fastball if you get one.
That could lead to Montes de Oca going deep into the game because of a low pitch count, but it could also lead to some early Gatemen hits and runs.
Charlie Warren digs in, a lefty, atop this order for the Gatemen from Rice University. First pitch fastball misses outside, 1-0. Warren a .375 average this season, .474 on base percentage. Here, breaking ball inside misses. Warren, one of 2 center fielders the Gatemen go to on their roster, the other being Darren Shepard. He's not in the lineup today. The 2-0, a fastball that misses outside.
Almost an automatic take here. The leadoff hitter up 3-0 in the count.
3-0, and a fastball misses out. So Charlie Warren, first base runner of this ball game, draws a leadoff walk.
That's been a strong suit for the Gatemen so far this year, getting on base. That effort has been led by the guy stepping to the plate, Jay Jabs, who's been very, very good at drawing walks and getting on. He has 6 walks so far this year, 9 strikeouts, and an on-base percentage of .447.
Runner on first, Jabs at the plate. Montes de Oca pours in a first pitch fastball for a strike. Jabs from Franklin Pierce University, like Eric mentioned, has had a really good start to his season. 2 for 8 against Falmouth in 2 games, and a .300 average overall. Fastball there misses high. Count goes to 1-1. Middle infield at double play depth. Gray at short and Hamilton at second. This ball hit hard to Blackman at third. He knocks it down and goes to first.
And the inability to catch that in the glove right away probably kept the Gatemen out of a double play. Had Blackman caught that instead of knocking it down with his chest, he could have gone to second and then on to first. It would have been a close play, but they might have had a chance at turning the double play. Instead, Warren advances to second and only 1 out.
So an RBI situation for the Gatemen's best RBI guy. Their catcher tonight, it's Andrew Kisner. Kisner started out his Gateman season 0 for 7, but then in his last game against Hyannis, his last 2 at-bats really showcase the pop that he has, roping 2 doubles. 2 RBIs for him as well. In those at-bats, a fastball from Montes de Oca catches the inside corner. Here an RBI situation for Kisner, looking for his 3rd of the season. The second baseman, Hamilton, is holding Warren on at second base, which allows the shortstop, Tristan Gray, to occupy his position at short. Again, Warren at second, Kisner at the plate. Here's Montes de Oca. A fastball, and Kisner fouls it back 0-2. A home game after a few road games for the Gatemen. Again, all our video coverage provided by WCTV. We'll strive to have live video for every single home game, whereas road games, it'll be essentially a radio broadcast. Everything through audio, no video. Tinsley raises from his crouch, and that may have cost him a strike, so 1-2 is the count. One out in the first. A breaking ball hung, but this ball lifted into left. Longo camps underneath. He makes the catch. So 2 outs, and now the cleanup hitter, Logan Sowers.
Kisner's eyes probably got really big when he saw that hanging pitch, but unable to get solid wood on it, instead lofting it harmlessly to left for out number 2. I learned a lesson today in Montes de Oca's first appearance against the Gatemen. I used my rudimentary, better than rudimentary, college proficiency Spanish knowledge to translate Montes de Oca as Mountain of Geese, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
It actually made no sense.
Right. What I was incorrect in was that Oca is geese, Oca is oak. So literally mountain of oak trees, which makes a whole lot more sense.
A slider there from Montes de Oca. Misses just barely outside.
So my apologies to the Montes de Oca family. And apologies as well to any Montes de Ocas out there for belittling your name.
I'm sure they're all listening. The 1-0, a fastball in the dirt. It's now 2-0. An RBI situation for Logan Sowers, the cleanup left fielder out of Indiana. In 2 games against Falmouth this year, doesn't have a hit in 9 at-bats. Trying to collect his first here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Fastball poured in, a called strike. Home plate umpire tonight is Joe Caraco. At first base is Bill McCollum. And the third member of this crew, currently right behind Montes de Oca, or to his left from our vantage point, is Tim Reiner. 2-1 with 2 outs. The fastball misses up and out. So now a pristine hitter's count for Sowers.
Sowers tied for the team lead with 6 RBI. He'd like to take sole possession of that here in the first inning.
The 3-1 from Oka. Ground ball up the middle. Fielded by Hamilton. He throws on to first, and he's not going to get him. Charlie Warren scores on the play. See if that's ruled a base hit, but nevertheless, a 1-0 lead for the Gatemen.
That is ruled a base hit, although I'm not sure if the runner would have scored from second on the error. In fact, yes, it is going to be called a throwing error on the second baseman, Caleb Hamilton, allowing the runner, Warren, to advance from third to home. So Sowers reaching on a base hit, no RBI, and Warren scoring on the E4.
Sowers over at first base. He takes off with 2 down. The throw into second, not in time. Sowers steals a bag, and just like that, the Gatemen have another runner in scoring position for Wes Wilson.
I would say the throw was in time, just not handled on a hop from Hamilton. It's a tough throw, a short hop, and he couldn't come up with it cleanly. Had he come up with it cleanly, I think they might have had a chance at Sowers. We saw on the infield single he beat out that he's not the fleetest of foot, although he can hold his own. Not someone we'll probably see steal a whole lot of bases over the course of the season.
Wilson batting .400 after starting the season off slow. Soft chopper up the middle. Hamilton's going to have a tough play. He gets him at first to end the inning. So the Gatemen strike for 1 in the first. It comes at the hands of an error on the second baseman, Hamilton. There to end the inning, though, he makes a nice play to get out of it. We'll head to the second. Keep it right here on WCTV. Back out at Spillane Field, Gatemen with a 1-0 early lead over the Commodores. It'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up in the top of the second inning. Importance of the Gatemen getting out and scoring the first run of this ball game, huge for them so far this season. 3-0 when they score first, and only 1-5 when they do not. So all 5 of their losses this season, they're 4-5 this year, have come when they failed to score first.
And another unearned run scoring for the Gatemen. Only 1 of their 7 runs in their win Wednesday night was earned, and obviously being shut out the 2 games before seems to be a recurring theme.
Prior to Wednesday, the Gatemen had lost 4 games in a row, and then the offense struck for 7 runs. The pitching was great again. Ground ball, Wilson backhand at third. He's going to take a strong throw, not in time. A heck of a play from Wes Wilson even to field that baseball. But ultimately, the speed from Heath Quinn, he's able to beat it out for an infield single.
Yeah, that was a very, very close play at first. Quinn getting the benefit of the doubt, but what a play by Wilson first, saving extra bases, going backhand down the third base line, and then making an accurate throw across the diamond that was almost in time to get the runner.
It's now J.J. Matajevic, a very young member of this Cape Cod Baseball League, only going to be a sophomore this next season. Hails from the University of Arizona. Takes a fastball, misses outside from Olson. Hitting .250 this season, but his batting average, not really the prime portion of his game that he brings to the table. His 2 home runs, which he hit a lot of for Arizona last year, tied for third in the league. The 1-0 in on the fists. Matajevic fouls it back.
We've seen Gatemen pitchers handle leads pretty well so far in this young season. You mentioned the statistic that they're doing very well when scoring first. A lot of that's due to the pitchers attacking the strike zone when given a lead.
The 2-1 from Olson misses out. 2-1 is the count on the top of the second. The leadoff batter, it was Heath Quinn. He reached on an infield single. And now it's J.J. Matajevic at the dish. Olson from the stretch and now to the plate. Floats in a changeup, I believe, and called a strike. 2-2. Matajevic at the dish. Olson comes set and out of the plate. The 2-2. In on the fists of Matajevic. He stays alive. One 0 Gateman lead. We'll see what pitch selection is opted for. Ground ball up the middle. 4-6, 3 on to first, and not going to be in time. Matajevic beats out a potential double play. Kirk decided to wait back on that ball. He fielded it cleanly and got the lead runner.
Yeah, no harm in that. Might as well be safe. But had he charged, it would have been a more risky play. Could have gotten the double play.
It'll be Tate Blackman now, the third baseman from Ole Miss. Olson checks on Matajevic over at first base. Nothing doing. Blackman had a hit in his first 6 games this season. Since then, though, in 7 at-bats, he's hitless. So runner on first with 1 away. Fastball in there for a called strike. Still a double play situation for the middle infield. Wilson over at third base, playing about halfway. The 0-1 in the dirt. On that play, Matajevic bluffing the steal attempt, then decided to put on the brakes.
I think that was a planned bluff. Couple hard steps and then almost a choreographed move back.
One and one with 1 away. This ball ripped into the left field gap. No one's going to catch this one, and it drops in, hits the wall on a few bounces. Quinn rounds third. He'll score standing up. A 1-out double for Tate Blackman, and just like that, this ball game is now a 1-run game. Excuse me, 1-1 now.
A pretty good piece of hitting by Tate Blackman, ripping it to a place in the field where no one was able to catch it. An RBI, and Matajevic comes home to score the first run for the Commodores.
Mitch Longo now, another lefty for the Commodores. First pitch bounces. Kisner does a good job blocking the play. Kisner made the transition to catcher this season. We talked about that on our last broadcast, but to sum it up in a few words, a third baseman normally, deciding though that catcher would improve his draft stock in the MLB draft. This ball looped into left center. Both converge on it. Warren lays out. He will not get it. Tate Blackman tagged up initially. Now he's going to be sent to the plate. This ball will not be cut off. Now it's being thrown around. An inside the park Little League home run for Mitch Longo. And just like that, it's now a 3-1 ball game, a 2-run lead for the Falmouth Commodores.
And that's on a lot of different people. First among them, Ryan Olson for not backing up the plate. You have to anticipate a throw home because with the runner at second, I think that was where the play was naturally going, even though it was fumbled around in the outfield there. But Olson has to back up home plate, and even though the error will be on the outfielder for the throw, that's a mental error on his part for not backing up and preventing the runner from advancing.
I'm not sure what this is officially going to be scored, but for now we'll go with a double for Mitch Longo, and then 2 more bases awarded to him on the throwing error from the outfield. 3-run second inning for Falmouth. Ryan Olson, the 0-1, a slider that misses out. One and one with 1 out. Top of the second inning. This ball lined up the middle for a base hit.
So all 5 batters have reached so far in this inning. Matajevic on a fielder's choice, but I think it's safe to say that the Commodores are not missing what Olson's giving them.
It's now Tristan Gray, the shortstop from Rice. First pitch slider from Olson misses low and in. Gray, one of 3 shortstops to occupy the position this season for Falmouth. Saw Lavillo in the last game, and Andrew Snow, a guy who played a little bit of short. Runner goes. Kisner unable to get the throw off. A stolen base for Hamilton. He's into second, now in scoring position with 1 out.
That was stolen off of Olson. Even though Kisner dropped that ball, I don't think he had much of a chance. A great jump by Hamilton advancing to second.
Three-one ball game. Commodores looking for more. Olson misses low and in the dirt. It's now 2-1. Gray's average, like many of these Commodores hitters, not great but serviceable. 250 on the season. Teammates at Rice with the Gatemen center fielder Charlie Warren. Swung on and missed. That fastball got the outside corner, and now it's 2-2. Olson to the plate, lifted into right field. Jabs has a beat on it. Camps underneath. Hamilton will tag, and he'll take third, but now 2 away.
Another well-hit ball by the Commodores, that one taking Jabs almost to the warning track. Might have been on the edge of the warning track. Can't tell from our vantage point, but again, Olson delivering the pitches over the heart of the plate, and the Commodores hitting it pretty well.
3 runs already in this second inning for the Commodores. It's the leadoff hitter, J.B. Woodman, stepping into the dish and flipping over this lineup only in the second inning. First pitch fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Olsen from the windup, and now to the plate. Sharply hit up the middle. Kirk unable to come away with it, and it rolls into center field for a base hit. An RBI single for J.B. Woodman, 4-1 Commodores lead.
Although I'm sure Tanner Kirk would tell you that that's a play he would like to make. Hit very hard and getting past Kirk on what will be ruled a base hit, and another run for the Commodores.
5 base hits this inning for Falmouth. They've struck for 4. Of course, an error in the outfield aided a few of those runs. But as it stands now, the pitcher Ryan Olsen being hit very hardly by this Falmouth team. 2 away, Woodman on first. The 2-hitter Boomer White digs in. Ground ball over to Karaviotis at short. Fields and tosses on to second to end the inning. But Falmouth, 4 runs gives them a 4-1 lead. We'll head to the bottom portion of the second inning. Gatemen now with a 3-run deficit. Keep it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. David McKinnon, Mark Karaviotis, and Nick Sierri due up in this second inning for the Gatemen. They scored 1 in the first, but then that was immediately topped by 4 for Falmouth in their portion of the second inning. So now they'll have to work from behind, and David McKinnon steps in trying to start a rally, trying to get on base. Montes de Oca, fastball in there for a strike.
McKinnon asking the home plate umpire, sure that wasn't too high? Getting a satisfactory answer.
McKinnon choking up a bit, even in a 0-1 count. Slider there. McKinnon's .385 average this season, second in the entire Cape Cod Baseball League. He'll be battling for playing time now with the arrival of Nick Sierri and Andrew Kisner. We'll see if he can continue to stay hot at the plate. For now, though, a 2-1 count. Ground ball off the fist. Third baseman Blackman cuts it off. 1 away.
Making a great play look routine. Blackman charging, taking a ball that could have been handled by Gray. Had Gray been left to it, it might have been an infield single, but Blackman cutting it off and then throwing across his body in order to get the out.
Mark Karaviotis now with 1 away. Was our player of the game a few nights ago in Hyannis. Collected 2 hits. One of them started a huge second inning for the Gatemen. An RBI. First pitch swinging, chopped over to first base. Matajevic tosses to Montes de Oca, and there are now 2 outs.
Gatemen are true to their word, attacking Montes de Oca early in the count. Or at least when a strike is delivered. The only run of the game got on base via a walk. That was Charlie Warren, the leadoff hitter in the first.
The designated hitter, number 30, Nick Sierri from Maryland.
We'll see the third at-bat of the season here for Nick Sierri. 0 for 2 in his first 2 times, a pair of strikeouts as well. Both of those at-bats came against Falmouth back in these 2 teams' second meeting of the season. A catcher from Maryland. For the Gatemen today, though, a DH. Looked like a breaking ball that got away from Montes de Oca. 1-0.
Missed some time with Maryland with a hamate bone injury in his hand, but working his way back.
1-0 in there for a called strike. Sierri was late on that swing, and as a result, he fouled it back. It's now 1-2. Two away in the bottom of the second inning. Montes de Oca trying to retire the side in order. Soft line drive over to first base where Matajevic will be there, and he puts it away for out number 3. Montes de Oca goes 1-2-3 in the second inning. A 4-1 lead for Falmouth as we head to the third. Keep it right here on WCTV. Michael Tinsley digs in. Second at bat for him of this ball game, and his first plate appearance popped out to Tanner Kirk at second base. Ryan Olson spins a curveball, and it's called a strike. "4-1 Falmouth leads here in the third inning. All 4 runs came an inning ago in the second. That pitch misses outside, 1-1. Here's Olson to the plate. Fastball runs high and tight. Looking at the standings in the West and East, Hyannis at 7-2 atop the West Division, and then the trio of Wareham, Cotuit, and Falmouth all checking in at 4 and 5. Bourne rounds out the West Division in last place at 2 and 6. Foul ball off the bat of Tinsley. Over in the East, Orleans a 7-2 record and the best run differential in the Cape Cod at plus 22. Harwich at 5 and 3, Chatham at 5 and 4, and then YD, the defending champs, and Brewster both at 3 and 6.
Cooper Ferris told us the other day that this is a league of streaky teams.
Softly hit down the third base line. Wilson slides, unable to come away with it. We were temporarily blocked out there from the third base stands, but thanks to our monitor and our video guys, was able to dissect exactly what was happening on that play. So great work from everyone involved and a good effort from Wes Wilson.
Wilson got a good beat on it, just coming up a little bit short, looked like.
A 2-2 count from Ryan Olson. Here it is. Breaks off a changeup, and he gets Tinsley to strike out. First strikeout of the evening for Ryan Olson, and now one away in the third.
If that was the changeup, and I agree with you, I think it was, that's the pitch that he did not throw at all in his relief outing, but one that we heard he was going to work on and try and feature tonight as he faced hitters more than one time.
This time a curveball left up in the zone. Quinn takes a hack at it and into left field for a base hit. A wide turn for him, too, but he'll head on back to first, a one-out single.
Now 2 for 2 in 2 innings so far tonight.
Olson is getting hit around quite a bit here. Now 6 hits for the Commodores, but in college he's a guy who experienced a ton of success. A 12-0 record for Cal Poly. Led the conference, 88 innings pitched, led the team, and a 1.73 ERA led the conference. Strikes a lot of hitters out, too, more strikeouts than innings pitched. A vital member of the Cal Poly Pomona rotation. He and Cody Pons, one of the nastiest combination, or 1-2 punches in all of D2 baseball. But this Falmouth team here tonight not fooled one bit by his 3-pitch arsenal, fastball, slider, and change. Already wrapping out 6 hits. Quinn on first. It's Matajevic at the plate. A huge swing there, and he misses. Matajevic reached on a fielder's choice back in the second, and then came around to score. Olson ahead in the count, 0-2. He was upset at himself after that last pitch, but no harm, no foul. If he gets Matajevic to chase there, not going to be able to do much with that. Runner goes, got a big jump. Kirk is going to field and have to throw on to first.
Kirk.
2 away, but Quinn now takes second base and in scoring position for Blackman.
Kirk lucky he was in the good position there, coming to second on the hit and run. Had it gone to the hole, it would have been a sure base hit. Quinn would have gone to third. And had Quinn not cleared out of his line of sight just a split second earlier than he did, then he might have gotten one right in the lips.
Tap softly back from Tate Blackman. Blackman roped the double back in the second, had an RBI, and then came around to score two. Here has a chance for his second RBI of the ball game. It's 4-1, Falmouth, trying for their first run of the third inning. Olsen a slider, and he misses. Olsen from the stretch. Here's the 1-1. Hacked foul by Blackman.
Courtesy of attorney Glenn Hannington and his daughter Tevis, will return it for a free ice cream from Friendly.
1-2, 2 away, top of the third inning. Olsen trying to get out of another jam. Dials up what looked to be a slider that time. Kisner picks it. It's now 2-2.
And I think the frustration beginning to mount a bit for Olsen, snapping his glove after receiving the throwback from Kisner. I think more with the situation than himself, but that's a good thing to see. You like to see emotion in the pitcher. Shows that he cares.
Fastball there runs a bit too far in. Almost hit Tate Blackman, but he dances out of the way. Three and two at 2 outs. The runner on second base, Heath Quinn. He'll likely not be running on this play, as he'll be running on contact. And should Blackman notch a base hit, and he'll be scoring on the play as it is. The payoff pitch, sinker, or a slider, something of the effect. It plunged in the strike zone. Blackman swings over the top, and Olsen gets out of the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Megan O'Brien will be with us after this short break. It's 4-1, Falmouth with the lead. Keep it here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
We're now joined by Megan O'Brien, who will briefly give us more information on Ryan Olsen.
And pitching staff has been very dominant this season. The offense has been quite anemic, and we talked to manager Cooper Ferris before the game. They're facing Montes de Oca, and they've seen him before. He's a guy that can crank it up all the way to 98 miles per hour. And the key to that is Coop told us that the hitters cannot get behind in the count. And in this league, the good teams are going to win when they get the 2-out hit. We saw the Gatemen do that in the first inning. In the second inning, they went down in order, so we'll look to see that more offensive production from them tonight. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan. The first pitch of that at bat, a ball. And now Tanner Kirk hacks that one foul. Montes de Oca certainly dials up the heat, as Megan was talking about. For this Gateman team, you've seen a very concerted effort of them to swing at the first pitch. So far, it's yielded them 1 run, but nothing really exceptionally hard hit off of Montes de Oca yet. His fastball, even if you swing at it first pitch, still a tough pitch to hit.
Yeah, I mean, when it goes in there in the upper 90s with some movement, I think we can see a little bit of lateral movement from our perch behind home plate. It makes it pretty tough to hit. And you can take your chances on the first pitch fastball, but if you don't, then you get into his secondary stuff.
Off the fists, a soft line drive. Matajevic will be there for the first out.
The center fielder, number 17, Charlie Warren from Rice.
5 retired in a row from Montes de Oca after the single from Logan Sowers. Now it's Charlie Warren, the leadoff man. Walked and scored back in the first inning. Trying to get on base again. Takes a hack at the first pitch, and he fouls it back. The catcher Tinsley sets up on the inside corner, and Olkai hits his spot. A slider there. So Charlie Warren now down in an 0-2 hole.
Not a situation he's familiar with against Montes de Oca. 4-pitch walk his first time up.
Soft ground ball. Blackman over at third. He retires the speedy Warren.
The right fielder, number 38, Jay Jabs from Franklin Pier.
And only 2 balls hit into the outfield so far through 2 2/3. Andrew Kisner flew out lazily to left field, and Logan Sowers with a single up the middle to score Warren in the first. Everything else inside the infield dirt. No strikeouts, though, which I think is a byproduct of that aggressive approach against Montes de Oca.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But in Montes de Oca's other 2 outings, he's been in relief. Notched those 6 strikeouts, both in 3 relief innings. Here today, maybe he's liking the Gateman approach because it's allowing him to be a bit more economical with his pitch count. 1-1 to Jay Jabs, a slider bounced in there, and Jabs holds up. Jabs bounce out to third base in the first inning. Here with 2 away in the bottom of the third. 4-1 Falmouth leads. Ground ball, right side, Caleb Hamilton. He retires the side. A 1-2-3 inning for the second inning in a row for Bryce Montes de Oca. He seemed to found a groove with a 4-1 lead. We'll be back on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Welcome back to Spillane Field. A 4-1 lead for Falmouth as we head to the 4th inning. Ryan Olson back out on the mound. No activity yet in the bullpen for the Gatemen. They'll try and ride their starter Ryan Olson as long as he can go. Digging in is Mitch Longo. Takes a first pitch ball. Updating you on the transactions that Falmouth has recently made. They released, actually, 3 players as Longo swings through that pitch. 3 of them were released yesterday in Joe Daru, Dylan Morris, and Robert DeFranco. 2 of the 3 saw action against Gatemen in one of the 2 first games. The 1-1 pitch from Olson paints the outside corner for a strike. And then they followed those 3 release moves up with 3 activations. Connor Costello, who is a very potent bat from Oregon State. Mitchell McIntyre, he was activated. And then Shane Beans activated as well. Lined into right field, and it falls in front of Jabs. A leadoff single for Mitch Longo. Second time this ball game in which the leadoff runner's been aboard for Falmouth.
The second baseman, number 3.
And hit number 7 already through 3+ innings off of Ryan Olson.
And hit number 2 for Mitch Longo. A 2 for day, 2 day for him. A 2 for 2 day. Man, that's a tongue twister.
2 for 2.
2 for 2 days for both Mitch Longo and Heath Quinn. They make up 2 of these 7 hits for Falmouth. Another guy with the base hit back in his first at-bat, Caleb Hamilton, will dig in. Hamilton stands tall in the right-handed batter's box. First pitch hacks. Hamilton, a third base back at Oregon, but second base has been an area of concern so far for Falmouth. Andrew Snow for Arizona State, no hits in 20 at-bats. Lavello, really a utility man. So if Caleb Hamilton can be counted upon over at second base, his services will definitely be appreciated by the Commodore coaching staff.
I think it's safe to say that at this point in the season, the 10-1 victory by the Gatemen over the Commodores was an outlier for this Falmouth squad. I think after the game we warned that this is a team that has a lot of talent on it. We just need to wait for everyone to show up, and I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, ever since that ball game, Falmouth has been staying in all the games in which they've competed. Their plus-minus differential only at -11, so ever since a 9-run defeat from the Gatemen, they've only given up 2 more runs than they've scored from opponents. For a 4-5 team, that's better than average, I'd say. Still not great. Here, though, against the Gatemen, a 4-1 lead in the 4th. Hamilton at the dish. He awaits the 1-1. Bounced Kisner on the backhand. The 2-1. Olsen to the plate. Possibly a changeup broken off there. Hamilton swings through. Got to get Brian Shropshire up here to confirm if that's a changeup, because Olsen hadn't thrown any in his first outing. Here today, though, it looks like that's been his swing and miss pitch.
Didn't throw it at all back in the first inning, a 6-pitch first inning. That was the last time we were updated from our good friend and colleague, Brian Shropshire.
Runner on first with no outs. Top of the 4th inning. All 4 runs came in the 2nd inning for Falmouth. They threatened in the 3rd. The runner, Mitch Longo, bluffs, and Hamilton goes down on strike swinging. 1 away.
Again, a runner, I think, bluffing with the intention of bluffing. Taking a few hard steps, then stopping dead in his tracks, retreating, or at least staying there for a secondary lead. That might be something that the Commodores are taught instead of taking a normal secondary lead on first movement, especially with a righty on the mound where you can tell. Take a few hard steps, see if you can draw a throw or something. You never know what's going to happen.
You think that's at all a product of Kisner being a first-year catcher? He looks like he's adjusted to it very well, only being his first year behind the plate, but maybe the scouting report on him is bluff and he'll have the occasional miss behind the plate.
I think the early action so far by the Commodores lends credence to that theory.
Tristan Gray, the shortstop, swung through on the first pitch of the at-bat, so he's down 0-1. Olsen now to the plate. Fastball just misses outside. One and one count with 1 away. Ryan Olsen getting the signs. This time Longo goes. He's off to second base. And the throw is in time. So Mitch Longo gunned down by Andrew Kisner, and now 2 outs.
We were just talking about how Kisner a bit unproven behind the plate. There he gets a caught stealing for out number 2 here in the 4th.
Ground ball up the middle, softly hit. Going to be a tough play for Karaviotis. Barehand attempt does not fall through.
I don't think he had a chance anyway. 9-hitter Tristan Gray, pretty speedy out of the box, and by the time that second hop went a little bit lower than Karaviotis expected, Gray already about 4/5 of the way to first base.
So just as Ryan Wilson was trying to get out of this 4th inning, facing the minimum, the first time since the first inning, unable to do so as Gray is aboard with a 2-out single. We'll flip things over now to the top of the order. Woodman takes, Gray goes, and he's going to slide into second base.
And there's the benefit of that hard secondary lead. Gray saw that Kisner didn't handle that properly. A little bit slow to react, and Gray just swiping second. I'm going to call that a passed ball, at least for the time being.
1-0, Olsen draws the swing and miss from J.B. Woodman. Woodman singled in his last at-bat. It was an RBI single, 1 for 2 on the day. Top of the fourth, 1-1. And Olson paints the outside corner with a fastball.
Pretty good pitch there. Leadoff hitter J.B. Woodman. You don't want him to be able to pull the ball. You want to get him to hit it. You want to hit it to the left side. So Gray has to wait a little bit. That little bit that he has to wait might make the difference between him standing at third or scoring the game's 5th run.
Boomer White stands on deck. He's not going to be needed. Olson draws a swing and miss, and Kisner throws on to first. Inning over, and no runs that inning for Falmouth. Lead stays at 4-1 for them. Gatemen due up in the bottom of the fourth. When we come back, keep it here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Lights now on at Spillane Field. We've played 3.5. And the Falmouth Commodores with a 4-1 lead over the Gatemen. Sun's starting to set here at Spillane Field. Not very dark yet, though. We've played for an hour and 3 minutes. Like I said, 3.5 innings have elapsed. Andrew Kisner, the 3-hitter, will lead things off for the Gatemen.
I've got a question for you.
And I've got an answer.
Sure hope you do. Alex Rodriguez just got his 3,000th hit, a home run at Yankee Stadium. You were actually there yesterday. You just missed seeing history.
Quite disappointing.
How do you feel about A-Rod getting 3,000 hits?
In full support of it. And I think everyone else should be too. Hand-eye coordination, not a thing that steroids enhances. And you can be as bad of a human being as you want. And I'm not saying, no judgments on A-Rod, but he's been criticized for that. And I still think that should be separated from baseball activities, as well as the Hall of Fame.
I tend to agree with you, although I believe there's a difference between people who own up to it and people who deliberately and repeatedly lie about it and then are found to have been lying and been deceptive.
1-2 pitch, a curveball. Kisner goes down looking one away.
So I'm not sure how I feel about it, and I think it'll take a while. I think history will crystallize with time and our perspective will change on the steroid era as a whole as the players slowly fade out of active play and enter retirement.
I think my biggest thing is the accomplishments notched on the field should be absolutely taken separately from the human characteristics that they sometimes portray. And I don't think whether or not you're a good human should belittle any accomplishments on the field. Ground ball, softly hit over to the left side. Blackman cuts it off and on to first for the second out.
Just playing devil's advocate, though, are those on-field achievements at all enhanced by their very definition by performance-enhancing drugs? Is A-Rod's milestone that he achieved tonight and the other ones that he's gotten throughout the past few years, are they legitimate and should they be held as equal with everyone else who has achieved them?
I say power stats may be a little bit enhanced by performance-enhancing drugs, but adding pounds of muscle doesn't enhance your ability to hit a baseball, which is still one of the hardest things to do in the world. Steroids or not, the amount of time is milliseconds. That's a learned and developed skill, not something that can just happen overnight by taking steroids. 1-1 to Wes Wilson with 2 away. Off speed, misses in the dirt.
I guess the conclusion that we together have come to is that it's a very difficult and complex issue and not one that can really be sorted out in the span of a few minutes.
Right. The 2-1 pitch swung over the top, and Wilson now with a 2-2 count. Montes de Oca has retired the side in the past 2 innings after allowing a run in the first, trying to make that 1-2-3 innings in a row. Ground ball softly hit. J.J. Matajevic fields and tosses on to Montes de Oca. He'll be there in time. 3 up, 3 down in the fourth. It's still 4-1 Falmouth leads. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters will be due up when we come back. Top of the 5th inning, and the day for Wareham starter Ryan Olson is now in the books. He'll give way to a North Carolina State pitcher now, the left-hander Ryan Williamson.
Yeah, switching Ryans, Williamson, so far this year, in one appearance, allowed 1 run on 6 hits. Actually, 1 earned run, 3 runs, 2 of them unearned, to the tune of a 2.70 ERA.
It was against a Harwich team coming into that game that had struck out a boatload. He got his fair share of strikeouts, too. In those 3 1/3 innings, he struck out 5. A fastball that ventures from 87 to 88, so not overpowering. But also, as a left-handed pitcher, that comes with some breaking stuff. That's what he dialed up a few of those strikeouts against Harwich. A sophomore pitcher from New Jersey, standing at 6'3", 197 on the mound. He'll face Boomer White, who's 0 for 2. First pitch, ground ball, Karaviotis runs in and throws one away.
Just like Ryan Olson's first inning, a quick out there, and you'd like to have as many of those as possible.
Talk to me about the outing of Ryan Olson. He is going to need to shoulder quite a bit of this starting pitching load with the departure of Jeffries, Kay, and Bailey Clark. You think he's up to the task, at least based on this performance?
Well, I think if you had to pinpoint one thing that he'd like to improve on, and he is almost certainly not satisfied with giving up 4 runs in 4 innings, but I think the stuff was there. Things just snowballed on him in that 4-run second inning. Single, fielder's choice, double, double, single, F9, single. And although a couple of those were on some defensive miscues, one of them his own.
This ball hit into the right center gap. Charlie Warren ranges over and makes the catch.
I think Olson, and I commented on his emotion on the mound, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But he might have gotten a little bit frustrated, flustered out on the mound and let the situation get the best of him. We hope to talk to him at some point in the next couple days and ask him about the start and what he looks to improve on in the next outing. We'll probably ask him about that and how he felt on the mound during that really rough inning.
Ugly finder foul ball off the bat of Heath Quinn. Didn't find anyone. Just hit off the Falmouth dugout.
Also probably frustrated with himself that he didn't back up home plate on what turned out to be a Little League inside the park home run. I believe it was scored a double error by the center fielder Charlie Warren on the throw home. But Olson not behind the plate to back up the throw, and then Longo coming around to score. He knows baseball. He knows that that's a play he should make, that he should be ready for.
That is a mental error, and it probably results from the fact that things not going his way in that inning. So just a lapse in thinking in that given moment. That's something he can correct, as well as the pitching stuff too. But if one thing's going to be there, the mental side, obviously the highest on his list of priorities. Swung on and missed. Quinn goes down on strikes, and Williamson is away with a 1-2-3 inning in his first inning of work. Megan O'Brien will have more on Ryan Williamson after this quick break. But for now, keep it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Welcome back to Spillane Field. Megan O'Brien knows Ryan Williamson quite well from a year ago. Both returning members to this Gatemen organization. So, Megan, take it away.
Thanks, Jake. Not only am I and Ryan Williamson returning to the Cape League, but also his catcher tonight, Andrew Kisner, is a returner as well. And not only does that bond help them, but they also throw together at NC State, so not an unfamiliar territory for Williamson tonight. He has his own teammate as behind the backstop for him. I spoke with him before the game. He told me that he's going to be really working on those 3 pitches, and to the right-hander he's going to be throwing sliders, to the left-hander's curveballs, seeing if he can get anybody biting at those ones dipping in the dirt. Back to you guys.
Interesting, because we've talked about a few times how the communication aspect of the game may not be there for these guys coming from all different parts of the country. For Williamson and Kisner, though, that's something that they both have in common. And so we'll see that materialize throughout the game. The outing of the starter, Ryan Wilson, cut a bit short, so we'll see how far Williamson can go and see if he can serve as a bridge to potentially later relievers later in this ball game. Montes de Oca back out on the mound. He's facing David McKinnon. Gets a swing and a miss there. It's now 1-1.
I've, over the past couple home games, commented on the smells I smell from the Spillane Field press box. Now smell a bonfire, and sure enough, the Gatemen bullpen has started another bonfire.
The summer of 2015, characterized in one word, probably bonfire for the bullpen. That's been their go-to here in these ball games. And it's worth pointing out the last time they had a bonfire, the 1-2 pitch misses low and outside. The last time they had a bonfire was against Harwich, in which they had a healthy lead. Bonfire goes up, their pitching staff relinquishes that lead. So maybe trying for some reverse psychology here. They're down in this game, so maybe they start a bonfire, the offense starts going.
I think they're just hungry.
Fly ball into center field. J.B. Woodman is there. He makes the catch.
Although I think this is the biggest bonfire, I don't think I ever saw or smelled smoke before. So perhaps moving on up in the world.
I will say we handled the last bonfire exceptionally well.
Did that go viral? What's the qualifications for going viral? Is like 200 views enough?
I think it went about as close to viral without actually going viral.
Yeah.
It got some love, not an insane amount of love, but the people who watched it, I think, really loved it, and that's got to count for something.
Absolutely.
It's now Mark Karaviotis, takes 2 pitches, 1 a ball, 1 a strike. Talking with head coach Cooper Ferris before this ball game, he's convinced of the fact that the main goal of he and his coaching staff is to teach these ball players, and teaching goes hand in hand with giving them reps. Karaviotis, a guy who comes in, a shortstop at Oregon, Preston Grand Prix also plays shortstop, so the two of them may be seeing some time in which they both split that duty. Cooper Ferris is okay with that. He doesn't need to have the same shortstop trudged out there day after day after day. It's good to get to see guys shift it up a little bit.
And he's of the mind that that would be unfair to send someone out here and then not play them unless they talked about that beforehand as kind of a terms of contract type of deal where a player comes out knowing that they're not going to have an everyday or frequent role. Cooper Ferris believes in playing his players, and he says while that might not contribute to the best regular season record, when his teams do get to the playoffs, as they have quite frequently, discounting the last 2 years, of course, but since his tenure, the Gatemen tend to do pretty well.
Ground ball. Blackman cuts it off once again. His throw is in the dirt, and Matajevic unable to pick it. So a throwing error for Blackman over at third base, and Karaviotis is aboard. And finishing your thought up a little bit more, you can see that with a few of the guys who have been released so far by the Gatemen. Mike Adams being the latest one, now no longer on the roster. He was told that playing time may not be there for him, so he decides to go to a different summer ball team. And, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. He's trying to get reps just as much as everyone else is here. The corresponding moves to the Mike Adams release, Blake Fox activated, and Brett Hanowich, pitcher from Stanford, he was activated too. Karaviotis aboard, a one-out reached on an error, and now it's Nick Sierri. Lined out to first base back in the second inning and takes a first pitch strike. Fifth inning, 4-1 Falmouth. The 0-1, a backdoor breaking ball, nearly paints the corner, but according to home plate umpire Joe Caraco, it does not.
A sign of the torque with which Montes de Oca throws his pitches, his jersey is now almost completely untucked. think it began in the back with a little bit of a tail. Now it's working its way around to the right side of the jersey.
Runner goes, Blackman fields. Throws on to first, his only option, 2 away, and Karaviotis now on second base.
And now it's completely untucked. So I wonder, now he's tucking it in at least a little bit. There he goes. Maybe you can hear me.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is known as one of the more strict ones in terms of college baseball summer leagues. So I'm sure the umpire at second base probably told him to do so.
Still not, I don't think, in the back.
Karaviotis on second. The 9-hitter Tanner Kirk up at the plate takes a first pitch ball. Kirk's been struggling a bit, lined out back in the 3rd inning. Before that, 0 for his last 14. But against Falmouth, he's had some success. 4 hits in game 1 against the Commodores, all of which contributed to his league-leading average at one point in this season. Fallen off a bit since then, but here he has an 0-2 hitters count, trying to notch an RBI and bring Karaviotis home.
We talked about this in the open. The Gatemen have been so good at capitalizing on the opponent's mistakes. A lot of unearned runs so far this year, and a chance to do that once again with Karaviotis reaching on an error by Blackman. He's now at second with 2 down.
51 pitches in this ball game for Montes de Oca. 66 pitches, that is. Here's the 67th in there for a strike. Pretty generous strike call there. But Montes de Oca has been living around the zone so far in this game.
You can see Gary Gatemen in the bleachers trying to fire up this crowd. Having a moderate level of success.
Ground ball up the middle. Hamilton on the backhand plants his foot and throws on to first, inning over. A good play from the second baseman, Caleb Hamilton. He's been stellar over there all game long. 4-1, Falmouth still leads. We'll head to the 6th inning right after this.
For over 67 years, Lindsay's Family Restaurant has been serving the freshest, highest quality homemade food. For 3 generations, we've been bringing you our award-winning and deliciously consistent food. Generations of Cape lovers flock to Lindsay's for their seafood, quality ingredients, top-notch service, and impeccably clean restaurant. Join us after the game at Lindsay's.
That was cheerleader right there. One of the biggest Wareham Gatemen cheerleaders is Tom Crane. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Tom.
Happy birthday, Tom Crane. He is known around these parts of town as the player agent. Holds himself in a very esteemed position.
I don't know if others hold him in that same level of esteem. But yes, happy birthday, Tom.
He did say that he would appreciate the Gateman bats coming alive. They'll have to wait another half inning, though, as now it's J.J. Matajevic, the left-handed hitter, in a left-handed matchup against Ryan Williamson on the mound. 2 quick balls from Williamson. Here's the 3rd pitch of the at-bat. That was close, but the fastball misses outside. The 3-0 misses high. A leadoff walk for J.J. Matajevic. 2nd time he's been aboard this game. All the scoring in this ball game, the 5 runs combined for both teams, took place in the 1st inning for the Gatemen and then in the 2nd inning for the Falmouth Commodores. So in the span of 1 inning, I guess, bottom half of the 1st for the Gatemen, top half of the 2nd for the Commodores, all 5 runs have been scored. And since then, a very quiet night at the plate for both teams. Pitchers have settled down for the most part. But as it stands now, a 4-1 lead for Falmouth, and trying to extend that as they have their leadoff runner aboard.
The run for the Gatemen, surprise, surprise, an unearned run. All 4 for the Commodores are earned, although there was an error in the inning after a base hit. That error allowed Mitch Longo to circle the bases with a, as you described it, Little League home run, double, and then scoring on a throwing error by the center fielder Charlie Warren.
Matajevic over on first. It's Blackman at the dish. Back pick by Kisner. Blackman an RBI double in the second inning. Struck out swinging in the third. So inching his average up from the 259 mark that it started this game. 1-1. Williamson to the plate. A fastball caught a lot of the plate. Blackman fouls it back. Have a 2-2 count. Wilson now to the plate. Got him on the changeup, swinging. Second strikeout of the game for Williamson and second strikeout for Blackman at the dish.
That's some good pitching from Williamson after allowing the runner to reach on a walk, digging deep and striking out the next batter to not eliminate the damage done, but to at least minimize it.
Longo came in batting under 200. He's done a lot to fix that, though. 2 for 2, a double and a single, and a run scored.
That double to left center field was, I think, a catchable ball that might have led to the confusion that led Olsen to not back up home plate. Sowers and Warren converging on it. I think Sowers had a better play on it, as that one fouled back. But Warren, the center fielder, called him off, as the center fielder is supposed to do, made a diving attempt, came up empty, and then Sowers kind of tripped over Warren trying to get to the ball.
As it stands now, that's the only error of this ball game for the Gatemen. It was the throwing error on Sowers. And a clean game, too, for the Commodores. No errors for them. Williamson has Longo down in an 0-2 hole with one out. Broken bat over to third base. Wilson fields and throws on the run, not in time. That hit was well off the end of the bat, and it just completely shattered. I'd say about, I'm not good at math, you are. I'd say about maybe a foot or so left on that bat.
Yeah, I'm just flattered that you think I'm good at math.
I'm good at math, too. I was just kidding.
I think whether or not Wilson intended to, we'll give him credit for throwing that in the grass, making it a playable ball for McKinnon. So many times you see an infielder hurried to make a throw, then they make a throw, it's low or wide or something, and then the runners get to advance. But throwing and at least getting the ball on target on a hop to McKinnon, an easily catchable play, might have saved a base.
Caleb Hamilton takes 2 pitches, 1 a ball, 1 a strike. So 1-1 is the count with 1 out. Hamilton a single and a stolen base, a strikeout in his last at-bat. Here he has 2 runners aboard. Ryan Williamson trying to wiggle out of a jam, trying to induce a ground ball. Few looks over to second base, now to the plate. Called strike on the outside corner. Kisner sets up outside, and Williamson pulls the string, gets Hamilton to swing through. 1-2. Either a strikeout or a ground ball situation for the pitcher Williamson. Kirk shows daylight, now vacates. A fastball high to even the count at 2. It looked like Kirk wanted the ball over at second base. Williamson didn't budge, and so Kirk had to race back to occupy his position.
Well, that's Williamson's call, and I think he has a better view of the whole situation than anyone else. He saw that Matajevic was not very far off the bag, so he chose not to throw.
The 2-2 misses low and in. It's now 3-2. Runners will be off here, and that will allow a potential ball into the outfield on a base hit to score Matajevic from second. Now the never successful spaghetti move, but it's all done for show. Williamson just trying to keep Matajevic honest at second. Here he is to the plate. Fly ball in play for McKinnon. He makes the catch. Matajevic ventured a little far off second base and drew the through from McKinnon. He wasn't going there to begin with, though, just wanting to see if McKinnon would throw that ball away.
Treading that line between a smart move in getting a throw drawn over to third base, perhaps drawing a wild throw, and a dumb move in straying too far from the bag and almost drawing a throw back to second where he could have been tagged out.
Williamson working quickly, spins a curveball, doesn't break much, it's high. The 1-0. Gray swings through a big hack, and now the count evened at 1. It's still Longo on first and Matajevic at second. Longo reached on a base hit, Matajevic on a leadoff walk. One and one. Williamson doesn't command that fastball. He misses outside. This time, Longo swings through a fastball right down the heart of the plate. And now 2's across the board. Williamson trying to wiggle out of yet another jam for this Gatemen pitching staff. Here's the 2-2. Big curveball grounded over to McKinnon. Diving play. He's going to take it himself, and he gets them. A great play from David McKinnon over at first base. First to spear that ball from going into the outfield, then to realize his pitcher Williamson wasn't going to get there in time. Inning over, danger averted. It's still 4-1. Falmouth leads. Top of the order when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. New pitcher into the ball game for the Falmouth Commodores. It's a right-hander, Sean Gustin. Gustin, we've seen him before against the Gatemen in Game 2 of this series so far in the 2015 season. He relieves starter Alex Phillips through 2 scoreless innings, only allowed a walk. And for the Gatemen, a new pitcher here, a great sight to be seen. Montes de Oca was absolutely brilliant, only allowing 1 hit all the way back in the first inning, inducing 11 ground ball outs too.
I think if you had told me that through 5 innings the Gatemen had only struck out once against a guy with a high 90s fastball, I would be pleased with that. But a lot of weak contact, swinging early in the count, as we were told they might be doing against Montes de Oca, and only 1 hit, 1 unearned run. In past games, that might be enough to get a win, but the Commodores, with 4 runs in the second inning, have a handy lead.
Gustin stands at 5'11", 190 from Holy Cross College. 1-1 is the count to the leadoff hitter, Charlie Warren. Warren reached in the first on a walk, came around to score, and then bounced out in his second at-bat. This ball lined into the stands down the third base side. Gatemen looking for some sort of spark. Their leadoff guy, a prime source to do just that. He's down on the count, though, 1-2. Elevates the hands on a high fastball. Another foul ball. Only 3 base runners so far for the Gatemen in this game. That 1-2 pitch is bounced. One of them came on a single, 1 on an error, and Warren was the third with a leadoff walk to start this game.
Gustin, like so many of these guys who come to the Cape as relievers, was at least part-time a closer at Holy Cross College. He pitched to a 2.52 ERA, 5 saves in 22 appearances.
We'll see if the Gatemen stick with their same approach against this relief pitcher. The 2-2. Fastball misses high. It's an approach that may be a bit more effective. We have no idea if Gustin's always around the zone like Montes de Oca is, but against a fastball that clearly is not as electric as the one that Montes de Oca possesses, may have a bit more success. But Charlie Warren draws upon the patience department, and he's aboard first base with a leadoff walk.
Second time he's walked in 3 at-bats today, 3 plate appearances, I should say.
Jay Jabs has hit the ball on the ground twice, once to the third baseman and once to the second baseman. No hits in 2 at-bats. Goes through on that first pitch, 0-1.
You're down 3 runs in the 6th. Do you try to steal Warren or try a hit and run here with Jabs at the plate?
The 0-1 taken for a fastball right down the middle.
Evidently
And
not.
It's funny that you say that, though, because Cooper Ferris was giving signs down the third base side in the coaching box. Jabs was already digging in and not picking up those signs, and Cooper Ferris kind of raised his arms as if, what gives? The 0-2 fouled back. So maybe something was on there, and I think Warren on first base was paying attention. But since Jabs didn't get whatever sign was being relayed.
And he's still not looking, and Ferris just walking away now.
Cooper Ferris now out of sight down the third base line. Jabs down in the count, 0-2. Warren aboard first base. Here's Gustin. Warren takes off. The throw from Tinsley in there in time, but I think Warren jammed that out of the glove of Gray over at short.
Slid right into the glove, and Gray takes his glove off. Might have gotten spiked there. Hope he's all right. It was a good throw. Not in the air, but there in time to get Warren. But a good slide gets Warren to second base with a stolen base. And not to divulge any secrets, but I think we now know that Cooper Ferris had previously given a steal sign, and motioning same thing meant that the steal was still on.
That ball bounced in the dirt, and then Tinsley threw from his knees, which is kind of frowned upon in the catching community, at least with runners on base. He almost paid the price as kind of tumbled over, but thankfully for Falmouth, Gustin was there to receive the throw back.
You have your finger on the pulse of the catching community?
I do my best.
Okay.
Yep. 2-2. Gustin giving a few looks to Warren over at second, now to the plate. Jab skies one. Foul territory. Tinsley runs out of room.
You might have heard a loud bang picked up by our crowd, Mike. I'm not sure what that was. Hopefully a pyrotechnic of some sort. We're nearing that season. Hopefully not a gunshot.
2-2. Jabs. Another ball skied, this time down the first base line. Matajevic will give it a look, and we'll do things again. 2-2 count.
You a big fireworks guy?
Not really, but I was going to say before that pitch, it's a shame that you're not in tune with the pyrotechnic community just like I am with the catching community.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Maybe I just
That
don't.
was a very loud.
That was quite loud.
That was very loud.
Maybe I just don't divulge my secrets like you do. The pyrotechnic community is a very close-knit one. Because in many states, including I believe this one, it's illegal to have such fireworks that go in the sky.
We're back playing baseball, 2-2. Over to the right side, and it gets through the infield. Warren's being waved in. He scores easily. An RBI single for Jay Jabs. This lead cut to 2.
Good piece of hitting by Jabs. I think Hamilton knocking that ball down and preventing it from getting right to Quinn might have been what allowed Warren to come home from second very easily.
First hit of the ball game for Jay Jabs, and it's a big one. An RBI single. And now this Falmouth lead stands at 4-2.
Sure enough, as soon as Montes de Oca leaves the game, the Gatemen get something going on offense. Just their first hit since the first inning.
And now the heart and soul of this lineup, it's Andrew Kisner. He'll dig in with no outs and a runner on first. Kisner, hitless in 2 at-bats, a flyout and a strikeout. He's ahead in the count now, 2-0. Righty on righty matchup. Gustin to the plate, and he misses again. Kisner likely will not have the green light here, but if there's anyone in this lineup who would, he'll be standing at the plate right now. In a 3-0 count, in a 2-run ball game, though, base runners always imperative. Jabs takes off. He slides into second base and now will head to third. The throw goes into center field, and Jabs takes 2 bases there in the span of 1 play.
I was just about to say, what would happen if Jabs took off on 3-0? I don't think anyone was expecting it, except maybe me. And an alert pop-up slide, looking back to center field, seeing the ball, dribbling into shallow center, and taking third quickly.
So a stolen base for Jabs, and a throwing error on the catcher, Tinsley. The 3-1 pitch taken high for a ball. Kisner aboard first base with the walk, and now a first and third situation for the cleanup hitter, Sowers.
Through 5 innings, the Gatemen had 3 base runners, one of them reaching on an error, one on a hit, one on a walk. They've doubled that total through 3 batters here in the 6th.
Also doubled their hit total, too. 1 hit before this, and 1 hit this inning. That makes 2. It's that
Very
math.
good. You are good at math.
It's that
wow.
math. Hey, well, in my defense, you pointed something out that was reiterated at the start of this inning.
Right.
So good job on your part, just pounding home a point. I'll pound home my math skills, and together we'll make a pretty darn dandy broadcast team.
Putting feathers in each other's caps.
Left fielder number 9, Logan Sauer.
That was a good way to spend a trip to the mound. Few people converge, and now we're back to playing some ball. Tying run on first base. It's Logan Sowers, the cleanup hitter. Had the lone single before this inning in his first at-bat. Fisted into shallow right field. Hamilton will be there, and he makes the catch. Jabs pretends like he's going to go, and now hard back to third base.
And I think he did actually have intentions of taking home there until Hamilton gave him attention and threw to the plate. He was almost halfway home before deciding that it was not a good idea and turning back.
So Sowers takes a hack at the first pitch of his at-bat. Turns out it's a lazy fly ball into shallow right. An unproductive at-bat from him. Now 1 away. Wes Wilson, first pitch taking 1-0.
Now these are fireworks, we can tell you, because I just saw one beyond the right field fence.
The 1-0 off the end of the bat. Jabs hits it foul.
You can see in the background of that shot, the Commodores are warming someone up in the bullpen. As soon as we can get you a name and number, we'll let you know.
4-2 Falmouth with the lead. The Gatemen have plated 1 here in the 6th and looking for more. Here's the 1-1. Kisner takes off on the play. Likely a hit and run, though, and Wilson hits it foul.
A risky play with still 1 down and a runner at third. You don't want to line into an inning-ending double play. But no matter, it was fouled off, and things will start again with the count now 1-2.
Cooper Ferris likes to run in a first and third situation. The 1-2 painted on the outside corner, strike 3, and Wilson isn't happy.
Pretty good pitcher's pitch, either on the outside corner or just outside, and if you hit the catcher's mitt, more often than not, that pitch is going to be called.
So after 3 straight base runners reach base, 2 straight outs for Gustin on the mound. Pours in a first pitch strike. It's David McKinnon now, 0 for 2. A bounce out to the third baseman Blackman and a fly out to center field. His lone 2 plate appearances. Here trying to cut the deficit even further. Frisbee slider there. Draws Michael Tinsley out of the crouch. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Fastball high and tight, so now a hitter's count for David McKinnon. Cooper Ferris has reiterated to us time and time again what separates average Cape Cod baseball teams and good ones is the ability to perform with 2 outs. The 2-1 count. Everyone takes off. Jabs in to score on the play. Kisner drew the throw to second. It was another poor one from Tinsley, and Jabs took advantage. Now a 1-run ball game.
The Commodores had a play written up for a double steal like that, but the throw not on target sneaks under the glove and trickles into center field. A double steal. Jabs stealing home again on the second half of a double steal. That's the second time so far this year that that's happened. And Kisner at second with the tying run.
Tinsley has had a rough go of it behind the plate here today. A few poor throws, and then that one cost him a run. Kisner now aboard second. McKinnon at the dish, a 3-1 count. In on the fist. He hacks that one foul.
Jay Jabs now has 7 stolen bases on the year. Pretty impressive in his 10th game.
Here's the payoff pitch from Sean Gustin. A fastball that misses. McKinnon aboard first base, and now Karaviotis will be drawn to the plate.
Karaviotis' last time up reached on an error by the third baseman Tate Blackman. And it looks like we are going to have a pitching change.
Yeah, 3 walks in 1 inning will do that to you. And second time this inning that head coach Jeff Trundy comes out, and we'll see a new pitcher. We'll tell you all about him on the other side of this break. Gatemen have scored 2 here in the 6th. It's now 4-3. Sean Gustin comes into the 6th, proves ineffective for Falmouth. 3 walks, a single, and 2 runs have crossed the plate. Here on the bottom of the 6th inning, he gives way to another right-hander from the University of Arizona. It's Morgan Ehrman. He'll be facing a right-handed hitter at the plate, and Mark Karaviotis reached on an error in his last at-bat. First pitch swinging, looped into left field. It drops in for a base hit. Kisner scores into third base. David McKinnon will be called out. So the run does score on the play. This game is now knotted at 4 runs. Mark Karaviotis with the RBI single. But it's David McKinnon who is hosed down at third base. We'll head to the 7th inning. 4-4, all tied up. The Gatemen have clawed all the way back thanks to a 3-run 6th inning. And so 4 is on the scoreboard now for both teams. Ryan Williamson back out on the mound trying to keep this game tied. First pitch of the at-bat to the leadoff hitter, J.B. Woodman. He swings through on a fastball. The 0-1 curveball misses high in the strike zone to even the count at 1. Woodman shows bunt, then pulls back. The throw bounced into Kisner. The 2-1, another fastball high in the zone. Woodman swings through.
So far tonight, it's been the same formula as it has been all season. Take advantage of the opponent's fielding mistakes and their inability to throw strikes.
Sharp breaking ball there. Woodman goes down swinging. 1 out in the top of the 7th.
And Ryan Williamson's been pretty good so far through 2 1/3 innings. He's allowed a walk and a hit, and he struck out 2, allowing no runs.
Boomer White, the number 2 hitter. First pitch fastball high. White 0 for 3 today. Pair of groundouts and a fielder's choice. 1 away in the 7th inning. The 1-0 now goes to 2-0. The catcher, Michael Tinsley, on deck. Here's Williamson to the plate. 3 straight balls from the left-hander, and now he'll have to work in a 3-0 deficit. A run in the first for the Gatemen. That was then answered by 4 in the second. From the Commodores, Boomer White aboard first base, a 1-out walk. And then that was followed by a 3-run 6th inning that just took place from the Gatemen. Really a difference in approach, though. Only 3 hits so far in this ball game for the Gatemen, and a total of 9 for the Commodores. A team coming in hitting just .210 on the season. Against Gatemen pitching, though, swing starting to come through.
I'll be interested to see what they do with White at first base. First time on base all night, but at the top of the order has a little bit of speed to work with. You don't want to risk taking him off the bases, though, with the middle of your order up.
Tinsley's 0 for 3 today. Pop out, fly out, and a strikeout. Down in an 0-2 count. Williamson tries to draw the swing on a high fastball. He fails, though, so now it's 1-2. Tinsley hitting from the crouch. Line drive past the outstretched arms of Karaviotis. Boomer White's going to head into third base. The throw will be just late. And so Tinsley, a 1-out base hit. Boomer White over to third base.
And Charlie Warren's lucky that Michael Tinsley didn't go for 2 there. Usually you try and hit the cutoff man, especially on a play in which there's really no chance of getting the runner. But he threw all the way to third, and luckily for him, Tinsley didn't try and go to second because he probably would have had 2.
So after the Gatemen notched 3 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, Falmouth is primed to answer. A first and third situation with 1 out, and their cleanup hitter in Heath Quinn standing at the dish. Already has 2 singles today. And that's going to draw a mound conference from the pitching coach, Jim Lawler.
And a reminder, too, that Lawler is the one who makes the pitching changes. Cooper Ferris doesn't make that long walk out to the mound. So for all we know, this could be a pitching change ultimately. But no motion.
Based on the length of the conversation,
yeah,
it's likely just how you doing. Now, the home plate umpire is going to come out and send Lawler back to the dugout. Williamson remains in the ball game. He'll try to wiggle out of a tough situation here in the 7th.
And though we can't see the Gatemen bullpen mound, we can see the bench in foul territory down the right field line. We can make out some shapes through the translucent green netting that is wrapped around the fence, and someone is warming up. Looks like a right-handed pitcher.
Quinn takes a fastball in. J.J. Matajevic on deck. But for now, it's Williamson to the plate. Fly ball, right field. Jabs charging in. He makes the catch. Boomer White's going to attempt to tag. The throw to the plate in time. He got him.
That's what happens when you run on Jay Jabs.
That's the third time this season that Jay Jabs has thrown a runner out at the plate. The first since an exhibition game. This one counts for real. So a double play to end the inning. Ryan Williamson escapes the jam thanks to Jay Jabs. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th after this. Bottom of the 7th inning stretch just took place here at Spillane Field. And if that's not a momentum-shifting play to end that top half of the 7th inning, then I'm not sure what is. Nick Sierri, the leadoff hitter in this inning, hitting 8th in the lineup for the Gatemen. He'll try and carry over those good vibes to the offensive side. 4-4, still tied up. Sierri takes a pitch, a fastball outside. Morgan Ehrman still on the mound. Pours in a fastball to even the count.
Sierri might have the most pop of anyone in the 8th spot in the Cape League tonight. In there because he's only had 2 at-bats coming into today. And trying to get his feet settled in the Cape League. His Maryland Terrapins making a run in the NCAA tournament. Season going on shorter than he would like, but longer than many people expected.
2-1 fastball misses outside. Sierri in this game because Cooper Ferris just wanted to get him more and more at-bats, like you said. Normally a catcher, tonight a DH. In on the fist, Matajevic over at first. He takes it himself. So now 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. It's Tanner Kirk, who's 0 for 2. He'll dig in.
Kirk, like many people, threw 2 trips through the order, 0 for 2.
First pitch breaking ball there from Ehrman.
Through the first 2 trips through the batting order for the Gatemen, they had 1 hit, 1 walk, and Mark Karaviotis reached on an error. Since then, though, 3 walks, 2 singles, and 3 runs.
Kirk down in an 0-2 hole. Tinsley sets up outside. Ehrman spins a breaking ball. The 1-2 with 1 out. Kirk fists that one foul. Kirk trying to summon the good vibes that he had in Game 1 against Falmouth when he notched 4 base hits. Since then, though, he's been struggling up at the dish. 0 for his last 16. The 1-2 pitch, a breaking ball in the dirt as Tinsley slides over. Brief pause there as the ball boy comes in and hands Joe Caraco, the home plate umpire, a few more baseballs. 2-2. Rocketed third base line. Hooks foul. The bonfire must be back in action.
You can smell it too?
You can. I'm finally in tune with those nose senses of yours. Here's the 2-2 with 1 out. Soft fly ball, shallow right field. Heath Quinn there to make the running catch.
Long run for Quinn, but that is his play, although Hamilton might have had a play on it. He'd like to see your right fielder come in, as he did, and take charge. Charlie Warren got things started in the last inning. He led off the 6th with a walk. Stole second, came around to score the first of 3 runs for the Gatemen in the 6th.
Kind of a shame that Warren has to hit with 2 outs for the Gatemen instead at the start of an inning. He's one of 2 members of this lineup that has reached base twice here tonight. The other being Karaviotis, who singled and reached on an error. 2 walks in 3 plate appearances for Charlie Warren and 2 runs scored. He has stepped into this Gateman team and quickly become the go-to leadoff guy. Shows bunt and then pulls back as the fastball from Ehrman was outside.
Warren came into today's game batting .375, 6 for 16, now 6 for 17, but he's added 2 walks, and both of those walks have come around to score.
Inside pitch, Hamilton there. He throws on to first to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 7th. We'll go to the 8th, still tied at 4 runs apiece. Keep it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV.
And Williamson perhaps going a bit further than he might have expected to initially, but having some success, beginning his 4th inning of work. He's allowed 2 hits, 2 walks, and no runs.
Matajevic has reached twice in this ball game, a walk and a fielder's choice. A good breaking ball there, but not according to the home plate umpire.
A very good breaking ball. Looked like it hit the mid of Kisner.
I think my mic was off at the start of this inning, but like you said, Williamson in relief of Ryan Olson. He's been splendid in his 3 innings of work. Escaped a jam in the 7th, as his right fielder, Jay Jabb, certainly helped him out. In danger of walking the leadoff runner, the 3-1, Matajevic hacks it foul. Matajevic led off the 6th inning with a leadoff walk. Here he chases ball 4 high in the strike zone. Another strikeout for Ryan Williamson.
And these outs are beginning to get more and more important as we slowly work our way towards the end of this ball game. In the top of the 8th inning already. Just over 2 hours in.
Softly hit. Wilson fields it in foul territory. Just barely, though. He did his best to try and sell it by keeping his body in fair territory.
That was the correct call, and it is the home plate umpire's call until that ball passes the third base bag. Then it becomes the base umpire's play or call to rule fair or foul.
Blackman has struck out twice. Once against Williamson. In his first at-bat, an RBI double came around to score. Longo's on deck, who has a 3-for-3 day going at the plate. So facing him with the bases empty would be huge for Williamson. Williamson fires in a fastball, and now he gets ahead in the count. 4 runs on 10 hits for Falmouth. The Gatemen's 4 runs have only come on 3. The 1-2 lined into center field in front of Charlie Warren, a 1-out single for Tate Blackman.
And now we'll see what Longo does. He's 3 for 3. Double. Came around to score on the same play back in the 2nd. That was an error by Warren, a throwing error that allowed him to circle the bases. Single in the 4th and a single in the 6th.
Mentioned it in his last at-bat, but coming into the day, hitting under 200. His 3-for-3 day that he has going right now will go a long ways to improving that season line. The 0-1 pitch fouled back. It's now 0-2. Williamson steps off, fires over to first base, but Blackman back easily. Oh, 2 is the count with 1 out. Williamson, a high fastball, and Longo will take. Blackman reached on a single, a 1-out single after Matajevic went down swinging. Williamson has now notched 4 strikeouts in his 3 1/3 innings of work. One and two. Curveball. That's high and tight. Longo ducks out of the way. The 2-2 pitch fouled back, right back at us.
I was ready. I had my right hand up.
The question is, would you have caught it, though?
I think I would have. I would have had flesh to ball. I'm not sure if I would have caught it, but my arm was up. I was alert.
They say, well, I say actually, always bring your baseball glove to a game. I wonder if that applies to broadcasters. Another strikeout. This time the victim is Longo. Second strikeout of the inning for Williamson. He now has 5.
The second baseman, number 3, Caleb Hamilton from Oregon State.
And we may have gone off air for a brief period of time in that inning. Maybe still off air. 2 outs in the top of the 8th. And now Jim Lawler approaches the mound to conference with Williamson. Entire infield being drawn in. The outfield huddling up as well, so we'll see a new pitcher. A very good effort from Ryan Williamson. A valiant effort is a better word to describe it. He goes 3 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts, only allows 2 hits, and does an excellent job in serving as the bridge to the next reliever for the Gatemen. It's 4-4 in the 8th. There are 2 away. We'll be back right after this. Top of the 8th inning with 2 outs. The new pitcher is Tyler Thorne. He comes in to relieve Ryan Williamson. Runner breaks, a curveball in there for a strike. The head first slide from Tate Blackman. He'll be safe. And excuse me, a ball ruled on that pitch. Kisner threw from his knees. He bounced the throw into second, and Blackman's in there. The count is 1-0. And it appears like we've been going in and out. Our audio having slight issues.
Not the internet this time, though.
Right.
So, baby steps.
So far this inning, Williamson struck out Matajevic, his 4th strikeout. Blackman singled. Williamson then struck out Longo, another strikeout swinging. So 5 strikeouts. This ball lined up the middle. Caleb Hamilton into center field. Blackman to the plate. Here's the throw. Not in time. Kisner now to second base. Hamilton is in there. So Hamilton trades places with Blackman. And a 5-4 lead for Falmouth here in the 8th.
And just like that, the Commodores retake the lead. Be some late game heroics for the Gatemen if they want to come back and win this game.
We appreciate all the emails to the press box account. We received all of them, tried to work on it as quickly as possible. Main takeaway, though, Ryan Williamson departs. Tyler Thorne, sophomore right-hander from Stanford, enters and allows the inherited base runner he came in with to score. It's now Tristan Gray, 1 for 3 on the evening. Hamilton on second base. Here's Thorne to the plate. Off the end of the bat, shallow left field. Sowers is going to charge in, lay out, and it hits off his glove. Hamilton comes in to score. Gray into second base. Another trading places, and now a 2-run lead for Falmouth.
That will be scored a double, a gift double, but a double nonetheless. And Gray into second.
The center fielder, number 16.
So Thorne greeted rudely with two singles, two hits, one much harder than the other. And now a 2-run Commodore lead.
A rude awakening to the first outing of the season for Tyler Thorne. He enters this ball game, allows a base hit, a run to score, and then a double and another run. 6-4 Falmouth in the top of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Now we'll see an intentional walk. Tyler Thorne will be intentionally walking the leadoff hitter, J.B. Woodman. It's J.B. Woodman at the plate. He'll be intentionally walked here to create a force at all bases.
If you get knocked off line again, put that into
Woodman aboard first. Two away, top of the 8th inning. It'll now be the 2-hitter Boomer White.
White from Texas A&M.
It's Woodman on first, Tristan Gray on second. Here's Tyler Thorne to the plate. Breaking ball, and it misses 1-0. Falmouth 2 runs here in the 8th inning to take a 6-4 lead. Thorne evens the count at 1.
First run scoring on a 2-out RBI single by Caleb Hamilton, and the next batter, Tristan Gray, driving him in with a bloop double down the left field line.
1-1. Thorne gets White to swing through that one.
Thorne came in with a runner at second and 2 outs. So the first run charged to Williamson, the second run to Thorne.
Here's the 1-2. Thorne trying to escape the jam. Jabs shallow right field. Camps underneath. And that'll end the inning. But not before Falmouth scores 2 runs. One attributed to Ryan Williamson. The other to the line of Tyler Thorne. We will head to the bottom of the 8th, but first Megan O'Brien has a little bit more. Megan?
Thanks, guys. This morning I caught up with manager Cooper Ferris for our segment on a glance at the Gatemen, and he was telling me one of the biggest adjustments about coming here to the Cape League is learning how to play like you're in the majors, and with that comes, last week we saw the Gatemen have 7 games in 6 days, and the same is set for this week, except, the doubleheader that is slotted for Sunday. A little bit of rain might blow in, and that's another adjustment these guys are going to have to make. The game may be postponed till Monday. We don't really know yet, but that's just part of the way things go here in the Cape League and something these guys do not experience in college. Back to you.
Thank you, Megan. So that Sunday doubleheader in a bit of jeopardy. We thought tonight's game may be slightly in jeopardy as well. There was rain in the forecast, but that passed through without any harm done to the field. It did rain earlier today in Wareham. Of course, not enough to put the infield underwater. Here we are on a beautiful night. Gatemen, though, a 2-run deficit that was sealed by Falmouth in their half of the 8th inning, and it'll be Jay Jabs, the 2-hitter, trying to get on base.
Gatemen need to get something going here in the 8th.
Jabs this evening, a pair of groundouts in his first 2 at-bats, and then an RBI single back in the 6th, part of a big 6th inning for the Wareham Gatemen. They scored 3 runs. Jabs was one of them.
And a big throw in the top of the 7th to throw out Boomer White at the plate, trying to score on a sac fly.
The 1-0 pitch swung on, skied. The catcher, Tinsley, is going to run out of room. In one-run ball games this year, the Gatemen 0-4. Not a one-run ball game yet, but that simple fact just underscores how they have struggled to perform in tight ball games this season. All their wins so far coming at the hands of offensive outbursts and stellar pitching performances.
And that's how you win a game. It's just in the losses, it's been a failure on the offense, not the pitching per se.
2-1, Ehrman to the plate. Jabs puts a charge in one to left field. Longo has to turn himself around. He'll come away with the catch. 1 away.
It's not going to be on any Tommy Mansky fundamental videos there, but Longo putting it away for out number 1 in the bottom of the 8th.
Jabs put a good swing on it, especially for hitting it to the opposite field. Hit that a long ways, but Longo is there, and there's now 1 out for the 3-hitter Andrew Kisner. Kisner, another member of that scoring party in the 6th. He walked and then came around to score. Was aided a bit on a throwing error from Tinsley. You'd like to get him to the plate, though, with runners on base. His impact on this lineup is huge, but when the opposing team doesn't face him with anything on, it's kind of difficult for the Gatemen to sustain and have that big presence in the middle of their lineup to drive home runs.
And they can pitch around him, too, which might be what Tinsley was going out to the mound to talk about. No sense to groove a fastball to Kisner. Nobody on, 1 out.
The 1-0 from Ehrman in there for a strike. So challenging Kisner. Kisner looked like he was taking.
Still just 3 hits through 7 1/3 for the Gatemen. They've scored 4 runs. But 3 of those runs reached base via the walk.
Kisner swing and a miss, 1-2. The Gatemen scored 1 in the first, and then Falmouth claimed a 3-run lead thanks to 4 runs in the second. The Gatemen came storming back 3 in the 6th. But then Falmouth came right back and scored 2 in the 8th. So the Gatemen trying to battle back once again. They have their 3-hitter Andrew Kisner up. Bottom of the 8th inning. Andrew Kisner down in a 1-2 hole. Here's Ehrman to the plate. Curveball, check swing. Kisner stays alive and fouls it back. The 1-2, 1 out. A good breaking ball there. Tinsley does what he can and slides over. Kisner, though a good job, does not pull the trigger, does not chase a ball out of the strike zone. Known for his stellar eye at the plate and not striking out very much. Had the fewest strikeouts for his North Carolina State team. The 2-2 lined into left field. This one's hit a ton. Off the wall. And Kisner's going to motor into second with a double.
That was an absolute laser to left field off the bat of Kisner. If it had had a little bit more altitude, it was almost surely going to be a home run, but hard off the wall. And now a runner in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
It's the 3rd double for Andrew Kisner in his past 2 ball games. So after some brief struggles in his first 2 games to start off his Cape Cod campaign, he's seeing the ball very well. If his teammates can pick him up, though, of course that would be much appreciated by him. His protection in the lineup is Logan Sowers, 1 for 3 on the evening. Sowers has home run pop, so one swing of the bat could tie this ball game up. He'll be content, though, with just a ball through the infield at this point. And Jeff Trundy, the head coach of the Falmouth Commodores, motions to the bullpen and brings everyone in. So we'll see a new pitcher. Morgan Ehrman will be removed from this ball game with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. 6-4, Falmouth leads, but Kisner on second base with Sowers at the dish. Keep it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. New pitcher into the ball game for Falmouth. It's Andre Frankenreiter. Right-handed pitcher standing at 6'1" on the mound. Northern Illinois is where he calls home for his collegiate work. So far this season, this Falmouth Commodore team has 4 saves. Frankenreiter has 2 of them. He's been good so far in his 6.2 innings of work, 9 strikeouts and 2 walks.
And just 1 hit allowed, carrying on a common theme from his time in Northern Illinois University. He's out of Peoria, so nearby. But 1.69 ERA, 26 appearances, all out of the pen, 9 saves, 23 hits allowed in 42 2/3 innings. Almost 1 strikeout per inning pitched in college, more than 1 strikeout per inning pitched here in the Cape.
The music took a little bit longer than desired to be turned down. So now we're ready to go. It's Logan Sowers at the dish with Andrew Kisner on second base. 2-run deficit for the Gatemen here in the 8th. Frankenreiter delivers a strike on the outside corner. I wouldn't call him a total sidearm pitcher, but he does drop down a bit. Kind of shot puts the baseball from his back hip. Hides the ball, it looks, at least to right-handed hitters, exceptionally well. Logan Sowers at the dish, taking a slider. Frankenreiter comes in and inherits the runner of Morgan Ehrman. 1-1 with 1 out. Sowers, a good hack, comes up empty. It's 1-2.
Big hole on the right side of the infield.
Second baseman Hamilton holding on the runner at second. This ball cranked to left field. Looks like it's going to go foul. Longo giving chase. Slides unable to make the catch. I'm not sure if that would have been a catch even if he would have come up with it. There may be out of bounds territory over there. I don't think there is, though, but
Not on that side, yeah.
I did hear the home plate umpire yell something as if to signal that ball is out of play.
Perhaps an invisible line. We should eavesdrop on the ground rules at some point, but there is a football upright, I believe, in play. Certainly able to be interacted with down the left field line in foul territory.
I remember Cooper Ferris said that territory down there is in play. That doesn't explain the loud yell, though, by the home plate umpire. Regardless, the left fielder Longo didn't come up with it. There you see the football goalpost completely in play, and thankfully still with the padding around it, should any left fielder venture on over there. The 2-2, Sowers reaches out and spoils it. Sowers this season, 6 RBIs. That's tied for a team lead with his teammate Jay Jabs. His 7th waiting on second base and Andrew Kisner. The 2-2 grounded over to third. Comes up on Blackman. He fires onto first. His throw is low, but it gets Sowers in time. 2 away.
Very close play. Blackman, I think, triple clutch there, making sure to check the runner back, but almost forgot about getting the runner at first. The throw is in time, but just barely. 2 down now with the runner still at second.
Wes Wilson went down looking at his at-bat in the 6th. Didn't come away too pleased with it either. 0 for 3 on this evening, a pair of groundouts as well. Here, though, a big-time situation for him. Frisbeed in there from Frankenreiter, a called first strike. Gatemen trying to capitalize on this opportunity in the 8th. They'll have the 9th as well to try and rebound from a 2-run deficit. Here's Frankenreiter to the plate, off the fists of Wes Wilson. It's fouled back.
Wilson still in the middle of this lineup, even though when he began there were a lot fewer bats in the lineup. Still finding himself batting 5th and playing third base, at least for the time being.
The 0-2, Tinsley sets up well outside. And Frankenreiter goes exactly where Tinsley was located. McKinnon's on deck. Should Frankenreiter get through this inning, it'll be the bottom portion of the order due up in the 9th. Here's the 1-2, cut on and missed. Down on strikes is Wes Wilson, the second time in this ball game, and Andrew Kisner is stranded on second base after a 1-out double. We'll head to the 9th here at Spillane Field. 6-4 Falmouth leads. Keep it right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Looks like one of our cameramen is a fan of R. Kelly, T.I., T-Pain. Probably all individually, but certainly together as well.
Shout out to the camera people capturing that moment. And now he's just disappearing off the screen. I think our listeners appreciate that song too. Hopefully it was the clean version.
It was. I don't know if the content of what was being discussed is G, but certainly PG.
Well, Stephen Woods Jr. will hope for a clean 9th inning.
Did he fall down? Oh, my.
That's terrible.
Hopefully he's all right.
Hurt on the job, never a good thing. Like I said, new pitcher is Stephen Woods Jr. He comes into this game having appeared in 2 games. His first was against Falmouth. He allowed a hit 2 batters, and an earned run in 1 inning of work. Then against Bourne, settled down through 3 innings and struck out 1, allowed a hit. The right-hander is 6'2" right-hander from Dix Hills, New York. He'll be tasked with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters of this Falmouth lineup, trying to keep this game at a 2-run deficit for the Gatemen. It's been an up-and-down game, to say the least. The Gatemen stake 1 run in the first inning, and we mentioned the stat this season, 4-0 when scoring first. And then Falmouth charged back with 4 runs in the second inning. The Gatemen then tie the score in the 6th with 3, and then Falmouth responds once again in the 8th with 2 runs. Woods, a fastball, misses high. Michael Tinsley singled in his last at-bat, 1 for 4 on the evening. Woods dials up a fastball, and it's past the bat of Tinsley. Woods, another fastball in there for a called strike. Pounding the fastball and the strike zone appears to be the strategy of Stephen Woods. We'll see if Tinsley adjusts. The 1-2, a breaking ball that got away from Woods. Tinsley leaves it up. The wind and deliver. Ground ball over to Karaviotis. Had a few plays like this ball game, and he throws on the run, 1 away. Karaviotis has made all the routine plays over at shortstop. Haven't got to see him showcase his range yet. We know Preston Grand Prix, who's received numerous starts over there, has an immense amount of range, but Karaviotis looking good on the plays he's expected to make.
Yeah, and I think it has to be comforting for him to finally be playing shortstop, because we talked to him the day after he'd played third base. He'd only played one inning of third base ever, and that was earlier this year when someone at Oregon got hurt. And playing second, I'm sure that's a little less of an adjustment, but definitely an adjustment.
Fastball high, and Quinn waves through it 1-1.
And that can translate as well into your offensive ability. If you feel comfortable in the field, you're more likely to make the plays. You're not going to be dwelling on your play in the field when you're up at bat, and it just helps everything.
Well, he's due up second in the ninth for the Gatemen, so hopefully the good mojo that's being created over there at shortstop will carry over into his at-bat. He does have a single already in this game, so looking to continue his string of two-hit games after he had 2 hits a few nights ago against Hyannis. Woods, though, in danger of losing the cleanup hitter Heath Quinn. 3-1. Fly ball, shallow right field. Tanner Kirk will camp underneath. 2 away.
Stephen Woods, one of those guys who's very quietly put together a couple pretty good appearances. When you think about the stellar pitching performances so far on this team, in fact, coming in, all active players, people who are still on the roster at a 2.11 ERA. Woods is bringing that down, 1.8 ERA, 1 run allowed and 5 innings pitched. But you don't really think about his name. You think of Ian Hamilton, who's pitching with an ERA of 1. Bailey Clark, 11 shutout innings and 2 starts. Zach Houston, no earned runs. Dalton Jeffries, 1.13 ERA. All these guys, really save for Zach Plezak, who's had some struggles, giving up 6 runs. No one else on the roster, the active roster, has allowed more than 2 earned runs so far this year.
Stephen Woods' pedigree certainly speaks for itself. A 6th-round draft pick by the Tampa Bay Rays in the 2013 draft. Opted to go to school at Albany, the Great Danes. He's a temporary player on this roster, but trying to make a name for himself and earn a full contract. He was a starter back at Albany. He made 9 of them, led the team in innings too. Here in a relief role in the 9th inning, trying to retire J.J. Matajevic. Hit a ton to right field, but way foul. That was a loud crack of the bat, but to Stephen Woods Jr., it's only a loud strike. Or not even, actually.
Do you believe that, though? I mean, ideally you want your pitcher to shake that off, say it's a strike, but...
Ask Jarrett Reinflesch how he approaches that. He cranks a home run foul. Next pitch grounds out. He's had a lot of those this year. We'll see if the same applies to Matajevic. The 2-2, ground ball over to the third baseman, Wilson, diving stop, throw on to first in time. Just like we mentioned, a loud strike and then a ground out. Top of the 9th over, we head to the bottom of the 9th. It'll be David McKinnon, Mark Karaviotis, and Nick Sierra due up. 2-run deficit, Gatemen trying to erase it. 4th pitcher of this ball game for Falmouth, now on the mound. It's Steven Vienes. Comes from Kansas, a 6'2 right-hander, 175. He'll be facing the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. At least that's the order presented in the starting lineup, due up in the bottom of the 9th. See if there's a pinch hitter or a pinch runner should one of these 3 reach here in the bottom of the 9th. But the Gatemen trying to muster up a rally, trying to come back for the 2nd time in this ball game. They'll have to face Villines, who's notched a save this season, a 3.86 ERA and 7 innings of work.
Had 13 saves for the Kansas Jayhawks this year, 3.40 ERA with them. Also struck out 56 in 53 innings.
And whereas Frankenreiter was sort of a semi-sidearm pitcher, Villines clearly a sidearm pitcher. Drops way down, slings it in there. McKinnon chops it foul. McKinnon so far in this ball game, 0 for 2 with a walk. Gatemen haven't had their leadoff runner aboard since the 6th, an inning in which they scored 3 runs. Here McKinnon takes outside. A close take, but a good one. It's 1-2. McKinnon routinely chokes up on the bat in a no-strike count. Here with 2. Some serious bat underneath those batting gloves. Chopped over to the right side. Hamilton on the play, spins and throws, and he got him. 1 out.
A very nice play by Hamilton. He could have dove and gone down to his knees. If he had, McKinnon might have reached base on an infield single, but staying up, twirling around, doing a little pirouette, and then in that motion throwing onto first for out number 1.
Well, the second base position for Falmouth has been in a state of flux all year long. Andrew Snow was the opening day starter. He hasn't collected a hit yet. Lavillo has seen time there, but Hamilton has been excellent defensively today. Made a few great plays and looks to be cementing himself. Ground ball, third base. Blackman stabs at it, throw onto first, and what a pick by J.J. Matajevic. Now
like
2 outs, and the Gatemen down to their final out. The last hope will be represented in the form of the left-handed bat of Nick Sierri.
And Sierri's bat is not a small one. He has the capability to get a hold of one and keep this game alive.
6-4 in the bottom of the 9th with 2 away. It's the right-hander Villines facing the left-hander Sierri. Curveball slung in there. Misses outside for a ball.
And should this game end relatively quickly, we are trying something different with our post-game show. We are not going to air our post-game interviews on WCTV. Instead, we're going to tape them and then put them up later on YouTube for your viewing pleasure. That'll make things easier, and if you stuck around the past couple nights, you'll know that we had to wait a little bit for those interviews. So instead of doing that, we'll just sign off and then post them later. As always, follow the Wareham Gatemen Twitter account, Facebook, all that stuff to find it.
The 1-1 pitch taken on the outside. I don't think Sierri can hear you, but I'm not sure if he's all too pleased about you discussing our post-game antics.
I did say, should this game end relatively soon?
Sierri's trying to extend this game. It's 2-1 with 2 away, bottom of the 9th. Villines to the plate. He misses outside. Sierri so far this season still doesn't have a hit. Only had 5 at-bats, though. We'll see if his bat starts to come around here, represented in the final out of this ball game. The 3-1 pitch, in on the hands. Sierri fouls it off, and now the Gatemen down to their final strike.
Checking the bat, making sure that wasn't cracked there, in on the hands a little bit. He steps back in. Base hit, ball 4 is his motto.
A 6-4 lead for the Falmouth Commodores here in the bottom of the 9th. Steven Villines looking for his second save of the season. The 3-2 with 2 away. Sidearm pitch, and Sierri fouls it off the school building down the third base side.
We saw a throw hit that school building during infield. The Falmouth Commodores right fielder, at least one of them, airmailed a throw to third base.
Here's the payoff pitch, 3-2. It's outside. Sierri is aboard with a 2-out walk. So the Gatemen staying afloat.
And now Preston Grand Prix pinch running for Sierri. The run doesn't matter, but in the event of a ground ball up the middle or something, that split second that Grand Prix has over the bigger and presumably slower Sierri might force an infielder to throw to first and increase the chances of an error that prolongs the game. So Grand Prix in for Sierri and Kirk at the plate.
Cooper Ferris having a discussion with Joe Caraco.
And now we're going to have a pinch hitter for Kirk.
Darren Shepard.
Yep.
Darren Shepard started this season as the team's starting center fielder and 3 or 4 hitter, but the rise of Charlie Warren has sort of displaced Shepard in the outfield. At least he's received a start at DH and then again in center field because Cooper Ferris likes his defense and likes his quick step.
He's batting .222 on the year, 2 extra base hits, and 2 RBI.
Gatemen down to their final out. Vienes to the plate, slings in a fastball, 0-1. Matajevic over at first, playing behind Grand Prix. Has a fairly sizable lead over at first. Off he goes. Tinsley's not going to pay any attention to him, so defensive indifference on the play. And Grand Prix over to second base.
And although that is defensive indifference and should be scored as such, not insignificant because that eliminates the forced play at second.
The tying run, and Darren Shepard is up at the dish. The run to make this a 1-run ball game is Preston Grand Prix at second base. Vienes to the plate. Shepard comes up empty, now 1-2. Shepard trying to supply some late game heroics for the Gatemen. They've battled back once in this game and tied it at 4 runs. Then Falmouth, their 2 runs in the 8th proving to be the difference so far. It's Vienes against Shepard, 1-2. Tinsley sets up outside. The slider comes across the plate, but will be taken for a ball.
A very close pitch to take 1-2, down to your last strike, but a good take. The pitch was low, and Shepard's still alive.
Gatemen trying to avoid their second straight loss to the Commodores. 6-4 is our score here in the bottom of the 9th. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Here's Vienes to the plate. Another pitch with a lot of movement. Came across the plate, but misses for a ball. So 3-2.
And should Shepard reach via a walk or otherwise, it would be the leadoff hitter Charlie Warren, who is 0 for 2 today but has walked twice.
Righty-on-righty matchup with Preston Grand Prix at second base. Tinsley giving an extended version of the run-through of the signs. Here's Vienes. Ground ball over to shortstop. Gray charges in. Shepard will be out on the play. A ground out to the shortstop to end this ball game. Gatemen fall to the Commodores 6-4 here at Spillane Field.
A disappointing loss for the first time. Well, I guess the first game of that losing streak to Harwich was a failure on the part of the pitching, but we're used to this pitching for the Gatemen being so good. It was not tonight, and as a result, they lose.
So final totals of this ball game: Falmouth's runs, 6 runs, came on 13 hits. They left 5 on base. The Gatemen 4 runs on only 4 hits, and they left 4 on base. So the Gatemen dropped to 4-6 on this young 2015 season. Falmouth advances to an even 5-5. Again, check our Facebook or Twitter for the post-game interviews and wrap-ups and all your thoughts from Coach Cooper Ferris. And a player of our choosing, likely going to be Jay Jabs. He singled and then had a huge gun down at the plate to preserve a tie ball game. So final thoughts from this game, Eric. We conclude here at Spillane Field. The Gatemen have now lost 4 of 5 games. I'm sure Cooper Ferris's message will continue to be to his team. It's essentially like the NBA. Every team makes a run here. Let's not be worried about this, but the offense, aside from the 7-run game against Hyannis, in 4 of their last 5 games has really been anemic.
Yeah, they remained stagnant. Although they scored 4 runs tonight, it was only on 4 hits, benefiting again from defensive miscues in the field. But I think this is a transition period for the Gatemen. The guys who carried them early on in the pitching staff are now leaving or will be leaving, and other people will need to step up. Ryan Olson pitched all right tonight. Did not pitch all that well. 4 runs allowed in 4 innings. There were some bad breaks that went against him, but in relief, Ryan Williamson did all right. Tyler Thornton picking up the loss, even though he pitched a couple effective innings and, 2/3 of an inning. And then Woods coming in as well to finish things off. There are lots of arms on this team, but it doesn't really matter what they do if the offense can't produce runs.
We'll be back on the airwaves tomorrow at 5 p.m. The Gatemen travel to YD to take on the Red Sox and the defending champs. Next home game is Sunday at 3 p.m. against Brewster, or allegedly it is. Rain is in the forecast, so we'll see if we get that ball game in. So for everyone here at our WCTV broadcast crew, we thank you for watching this broadcast. Gatemen drop it by a final score of 6-4. For my partner Eric Bramer, our field reporter Megan O'Brien, and our broadcast director Warren Randolph, I'm Jake Garcia saying so long from Spillane Field.